Hey, good morning. This is Dr. Susan Gitau. I am a lecturer at African Reunite University, Department of Counseling Psychology, and I also practice counseling at Susan Gitau Counseling Foundation, an international professional counselor center that brings counselors locally and internationally together to share ideas, exchange ideas, and as well as building one another. I also run a college in Thika, African College of Professionals, that mainly empowers counselors in practice, and at the same time has a department for community charity work and has courses to empower the most vulnerable in the society. And we are based in Thika. The purpose of my presentation today is to let you know, members of Kenya Counseling and Psychological Association, that as one of the chairpersons candidates in Kcpa elections 2022 that will be held on the 19th of this month, that is November 2022, I am here requesting for your support. But as I request for your support, I would like you to know the reason why I would really want to take up the Kcpa person's position. This is the highest leadership position in the organization, as you're all aware of, and other positions that have fallen vacant, especially in the board committees. And I also believe you will be able to give us those members as well. My manifesto is the business for this time. And my motto is strategic leadership and management in mental health. And my slogan is mapema ndio best. That is in Swahili, and in English, let's do it early enough to save Kcpa. My manifesto has 4 pillars that I developed as I thought about my leadership. The first pillar is reflect, or is titled Reflect. What are we reflecting on? Past leadership. Reflect and validate all the good work done by past leadership, and identify leadership and operationalization gaps. Fill in the gaps to enhance Kcpa vision, mission, and core objectives. We have very beautiful vision, mission statements, and even very clear core objectives. But again, the operationalization of the same has been a big challenge. Also, do a thorough audit to be done within the 100 days in office, and a report given to members. When I talk about an audit here, I'm not just talking about the financial audit, but if you request as members, because this has been your body, this has been your family, we shall do so. Also call for public participation through the clusters and counties to be quite inclusive in this. And finally, make sure that we have a good reflection of where we are as a society or as an association. We shall also reflect on how the board of management is constituted. Find out from the members, do you think the constitution of the board and the management of the board is what you would love? And that would tell us to reflect on the constitution. Does the constitution serve us members and the interests and even the demands of the profession in this day and time? And especially with the National Counselors and Psychologists Board in place, Do we align the Constitution with other relative, maybe legal instruments? We'll also ask members about their satisfaction with the board so that we can get insights from feedback. It's not to destroy any member. They did their best when they were there, as we reflect, but maybe we want to keep improving. There is no organization that says they have done enough service, customer service. We always seek to make sure our members are satisfied. So your feedback would be very, very important in this sense. We will also review the impact of supervision and how supervision has been taking place. Do you think Kcpa has been conducting clinical supervision for the members? Do you think Kcpa has been conducting administrative supervision for the members? What about the practice? Remember, now we shall be connecting with the National Counselors and Psychologists Board, and they will be our overseer or the oversight body in all matters concerning counseling and psychology in the country. What we have been doing as we reflect in practice, in mentorship, in education, in training, are we satisfied or we need to do something better? We will also reflect on the most important functions of any professional body. And for any counseling psychology body like ours, we are there to educate, to mentor, to train, to supervise, to give exposure as well. That means we must operate on the highest level of professionalism and ethical practice demands. And we also need to find out what is happening in the world of counselors and psychologists in the other areas of the world. That means we will not just operate because we are called Kenya and operate just as Kenyans. We want to grow our wings. Right now, if we were to mention about international affiliations and networks, what would you say that we have? Let us reflect on the space that we have also. Are we satisfied that we are still renting space for all the years we have been in place? Are we satisfied even with the space itself? We have been there for too long. So maybe as we go forward, we shall be thinking whether we will buy our own land or premises, or even seek collaboration or partnerships with like-minded individuals or the government, so that we can have room for more counselors, even to meet more counselors, to offer services, that we can also inspire the county leadership to approach the county government, now that we are part of the government, with the counselors and psychologists act in place and even the bold constitution, such that every Kcpa office, if it's possible, we can be able to have a one-stop service from accreditation, application for membership. The office space should be big enough to have therapy rooms for counselors who are operating like briefcase counselors, supervision space, bookshop space, and of course, if it's possible, run some income generating activities, even if it is renting some space. Should we buy our own or our own land and build, or buy our own premises? Reflect on the income we have been having from the membership subscription. And don't forget, right now we have about 2,000 out of the almost 8,000 that have been faithful in renewing and giving their subscription. So we also reflect on the reasons why they are not. What is it that is making them not? give their annual subscription? Is it because they no longer see the benefits of being a member? Is it because they don't understand why they have to be there? Is it because of long-standing wrangles that have been there and everything is just swept under the carpet? We can reflect on how we conduct business of the day. And my desire is the kind of an association that we have been, we remain grateful that we are quite organized. We have policy documents that can be reviewed to actually match the demands of the day. And we can reflect on our core mandate. Give the best service to our clients. Align those services with what is demanded of us. Help one another and members, especially the young ones, to grow and love this profession. Connect members to job opportunities, because as we reflect, maybe only a few have gotten this. As we reflect, maybe only few who have known how to maneuver their ways as individuals can proudly say that as I wear this badge from Kcpa, as I hang my certificate on the wall in my counseling practice room, I have benefited. But there are many, many I have known. I don't want to mention them by name, but it actually breaks my heart to see how faithful they have been in Kcpa, how long they have been there in Kcpa, and the kind of growth and development one would wish to see in their lives as practitioners is not visible. So we shall reflect on the self-compassion and compassionate leadership, communication, and networking, so that no member of Kcpa will feel left out. Because as I reflect as an incoming chairperson Kcpa, I see very many people estranged. I see many of them sitting on the fence. I see many of them very bitter. I see many of them very disappointed, frustrated. I see many of them lost. We want to find one another. We need one another. I reflect on the many disasters that have happened in this country and how we get phone calls from Red Cross, from other organizations to actually offer psychological intervention. And I realize that because we don't have financial muscle as members, institutions, and as a body, we are busy struggling maybe to meet up, get transport to go to where we are needed to take our services. We struggle maybe with even pocket money. We struggle with maybe money to offer psychosocial needs. We struggle as members. So as I reflect, I see an association that is full of beggars. And who do we beg from? That is why a big body of professionals like us can make made a sub body of another maybe big non-governmental organization. And so they're the ones who are gonna tell us what to do. They're the ones who will tell us this is the amount of allowance we are going to give you, as if we do not have an account that can directly receive finances for us to know how to manage and support our members to offer what we call pro bono counseling and psychological services. Does it mean we don't trust ourselves enough to say we have our own bank account, that you can put money in there? Are we not equipped enough to write proposals that can bring us funding into the association? That's a reflection point and a very serious one. I find ourselves maybe have hiring Ubers, maybe taxis and other people's vehicles. We are there fueling other people's vehicles, even if it's a member's vehicle. And when it comes to response to disaster, we have nothing that moves around that is branded for Kcpa. As a member, I feel my hands are tied just as a member. Even when I have tested the county leadership, I still feel financially I am tied. That means our house needs to be put in order. Some good efforts, yes, have been made because we have the county leaders. But if you ask the connection between the county and the national government is very weak. And that can tell you maybe only a few county offices run, as the members have been saying and lamenting. And so we would want a system that works. Let me tell you today, that's why I'm talking about strategic leadership and management. If systems are not working, you need to redesign. You need to rethink if they're not working. If counties, the county leadership, the systems are not working, you cannot talk about national leadership. And remember, we are copying or mimicking the leadership and governance of this nation. And you can look at the development we have had with the devolution of governance and leadership in this nation. That is my desire, to see Kcpa do the same. That the county leadership will be so strong, and if possible, stronger than the national office. Why? They are where the people are. And so I seek to really strengthen the county leadership socially, professionally, ethically, and financially. And we will put our heads together because they know best, only that maybe they have been too afraid to try something, because if you try, you will have undercutting. If you try, you need to have this and this and this done. And yet, we are the people who propose and support freedom of mind, thought, and action. And so in my leadership, we shall seek to buy a vehicle, brand it. Should be an all-weather vehicle that can help even members and the leaders to cut across the counties. If they're going to Baringo, can that vehicle go there? If they're going to Mombasa, wherever. And at least, if possible, every county to have their own. And members, I am saying things that I know are possible if people have faith and confidence in what they plan. We will also take members back as we reflect on the basics of counseling. And right now, all over the world, in every important docket, may it be health, may it in business, may it be in mental health, people are saying, go back to the basics. I sort of feel when I see some behavior that we exhibit, whether it's in our workplace, whether it's in the behavior with our clients, with one another, it's like we forget exactly who we are. We are not just any other professional. We are healers. And majority of us, unless somebody lies, we are wounded healers. And especially in Africa, very few of them, unless the ones who are upcoming, the young ones who are upcoming, majority of us joint counseling for one reason or another, but majority of us in our personal therapy classes, in our professional development activities, we are known as wounded healers. And there's nothing as beautiful as that, because your wounds are healed. And so when you have somebody else who has wounds, you can easily help them to heal. So we're gonna go back to the basics. What does that mean? A lot of education, member education will happen. And we shall no longer operate in isolation. I guess it's been a lonely world for Kcpa. We want to connect with the others internationally. We want to connect also with other local bodies. We want to be having events together. We want to be having events with KGCP. We want to have events with MFT if it's still there. We want to have events with Kcpa. We want to have events with the Kenya Psychological Society. We want to have, and especially right now, for me, to be very honest, if all the bodies recognized as counselors and psychologists body in the country come together, we can still pick our leader and form a coalition. Even if KCPA remains part of the big umbrella, it's gonna work very well. And this is where, as I reflect, I do not want to be biased. I would really want to acknowledge everyone that has contributed immensely, relentlessly, especially in the development of the National Counselors and Psychologists Board. And so I will ensure that the people that are in the National Counselors and Psychologists Board that are representing KCPA, we are closely working together. If it is the whole board, we shall work together. If it is the other presidents of other professional counselors and psychologists body, we shall work together. And it is not hard. If the wounded healers can never unite, then as we reflect, tell us who would. My second pillar is reunite. It's closing my first pillar of reflection. As we reunite, these are some of the activities I would want to spearhead. Reach out to all key leaders who have since left KCPA due to various reasons, misunderstandings, and seek their wise counsel going forward. And this can be done on a face-to-face basis. It can be done on a Zoom meeting. And this one is even gonna be my personal initiative, reaching out. And I have tried to do so even during my campaigns. I'd also reach out to lost or estranged KCPA members and listen to their grievances, make a report and present to the board, cluster leaders and county leaders for action. Organize community quarterly meetings where members meet up and share experiences and input to develop the association. Also fight against all forms of divisive politics among members and bring back home those who left due to such reasons. I will also embrace members who belong to other bodies too, because those are the bodies, like I'm a member of KGCPA, I am a member of Australian Counseling Association, I'm a member of American Association of Christian Counselors. I would want them to know about us. And I would want you, if you belong to another body, and especially those that also have formed side bodies, to know you still belong to KCP. If you applied and your application was approved and you became our member, you could bring in richness, you could bring in value to KCPA. I'm gonna do that. And it's good that they cannot be feeling shy or ashamed to say. Like I say, when I'm in those other bodies, that where I am and the position I hold. I will also help in strengthening specializations in different practices. The addiction counselors ensure that they are meeting, ensure that we are working together, especially when they really want to conduct and implement their work. Currently, there are many of them. They have been trained, they have been tried and proven to be good and effective, but they are struggling. Maybe they are struggling with clinical supervision services. They are struggling to make their practices NHIF accredited. So they are struggling. And addiction area is one that is really demanding. If it is a client, it's not like a normal client that you get solution focused for 10 sessions of brief therapy that goes 10 to 20 sessions. This is someone you might work with, because apart from being addictive, the underlying issues have caused them serious psychological damage. And so you may need to work with them for even a year or two. And they even need maybe to do reviews for up to 3 years. And so family members may not afford these services. Together with any client that may have deep embedded mental health issues that need serious psychotherapy, you may find that the family members will need to input a lot of money. But if there is actually an MOU with NHIF that Kcpa is able to help the addiction counselors, the mental health experts, and even other counselors, that we can have a very good system that is working. And that can only come if we can sit on one table with NHIF, even with NSSF. There are members in this counselors and psychologist board who can never approach a financial institution for a loan. So I seek also to ensure that we shall make sure that such members give ideas. We also share our ideas and seek counsel from other people so that nobody feels left out as a member. So there are many directors, there are many founders of rehab institutions that say it's very hard to get NHIF accreditation, and that makes them lose business. That will make somebody who has malicious intention to say that they are operating illegally. And so we're going to work together, and that's why I'm telling you, we need to reunite with everyone. There are people who are there and they can guide us. We have people who are our members and they know how to help in certain situations, because we do not want any specialization to die. We do not want any counselor to feel as if they are left out. The other thing we are going to do is to ensure that we have standardized the training. Good efforts have been made with the TVET curricula, but there is a big gap when it comes who trains, the qualifications of who trains, who assesses. That is still a glaring area, but a very good curriculum. So we're going to work together and see at a tertiary level, how is that going to work? Remember, Kcpa is not limited to tertiary institutions and offering services to such. Even at the university level, we are going to see the doctors that are in this forum, the chairs of departments from different universities that are with us, that we will seek to have harmonization, especially in those areas that are called the core units in the making, the training of a professional reflective counselor. We're going to work together, and even if it means making a submission to CUE, we shall be there to inform how research happens from our end, how clinical practice should happen from our end, how assessment should happen from our end, and if possible, lead in the development of assessment that members, for them to be licensed in this country, they can go through an assessment that Kcpa can be part of development, so that we can be able to add on to our income and at the same time own this profession because we know better. And finally, we would also want that as the board licenses, that we are the people who are involved, like the way we have ISPAC. You can never be a member of ISPAC if you have not passed certain CPA examinations or CPS. You can also not be passed through the bar as a lawyer if you have not gone through the law school, even after you have finished your degree. We want to position ourselves as professionals that we are. We want to involve everybody, and the doctors, the PhD holders, the university dons. They feel as if they are alienated in Kcpa and feel more at home in other bodies like KGCPN. Yet, there are so many. They are the ones who have filled up positions for clinical supervisors in Kcpa. But do we really make use of them? Do we really allow them even to speak on our behalf? Do we ask them to support us, especially in areas they're very strong in? This is gonna be a time to involve them. We want to strengthen coaching and mentorship. Some of us, and I'm not blowing my trumpet, I do a lot of mentorship for counselors who have just graduated and for counselors who are young in this profession. And charity begins at home. My students from African Nazarene University, the young professionals that we train to practice professionally at Africana College Professionals, they can attest to that. And so to strengthen these specialization practices, marriage and family therapies, mental health expertise, the ones who are educators and trainers, the ones who want to specialize in mental health coaching, the ones who want to specialize in spiritual coaching or mindfulness and mindful self-compassion, we shall strengthen them in their practice, and we shall help them to recruit even the students during internship, and we shall also have an MOU that every student that practices in these areas, these organizations, we have an MOU and collect a small fee because most of the students do not have supervisors. So if we reunite our supervisors that we have accredited at Kcpa, we work as one body. We shall be available for these students. We shall be available for those who are changing careers. We shall be available to support one another. And last but not least, we would want to have a TVET institute called Kcpa, Capacity Building Institution, or call it Kcpa Institute. Why am I saying that? We fight so much. We fight. Those offering diplomas, those offering certificates. And if Kcpa Institute, and this is a dream that can come true if members believe, can earn Kcpa income that can outlast all legacies that we have ever had and we are going to have in the future, so that members do not struggle financially. Kcpa can have fee collection from these trainings, practice, supervision, and even connecting counselors to industries. But who are we connecting? Is Kcpa is asked for professional counselors to give to a certain industry. Who do you go for? This is session 1. I have covered 2 pillars of my manifesto: reflect and reunite. The next 3 pillars, I will also do a video so that you can be able to know what I have in store. I am asking for your vote. Come this Saturday, 19th November 2022, for strategic leadership and management in mental health. Kcpa tuko mbele na mapema ndiyo best na Dr. Susan Gitau. Asante sana, baraka tele. I would like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Susan Gitau, where you will access mental health tips every week, every month, every year. Thank you.